There is something incredibly powerful about being genuinely seen. In a world where people are constantly distracted by phones, notifications, responsibilities, and endless thoughts, giving someone your complete attention has become a rare form of respect. When a woman looks at a man while he is speaking, listens carefully, and allows herself to be fully present in the moment, she communicates something far more meaningful than words can express. She tells him, without saying it directly, that his presence matters, his thoughts matter, and for this moment he has her attention. This is why genuine eye contact can create such a strong emotional connection. Eye contact isn't simply about staring into someone's eyes. It is about being mentally and emotionally present while you do it. There is a major difference between looking at someone and actually seeing them. One is physical, the other is emotional. Imagine a man telling you about something important that happened during his day. Maybe it was a difficult conversation at work, an achievement he's proud of, a problem he's trying to solve, or even something that seems small. If you're constantly checking your phone, looking around the room, interrupting him, or waiting for your turn to speak, he may finish the conversation, but emotionally, he may feel that you weren't really there. Now imagine the opposite. You put your phone aside. You look at him naturally. You listen. You respond to what he's actually saying instead of immediately changing the subject. You ask a thoughtful question because you genuinely want to understand. That experience can stay with a person, and it doesn't require dramatic romance. It can happen across a dinner table. It can happen during a walk. It can happen while sitting together after a long day. Sometimes a simple smile combined with sincere eye contact can communicate warmth more effectively than a long speech about how much you care. The reason this matters is because attention is closely connected to emotional value. When you give someone your attention, you're giving them a portion of something they can never get back, your time. Time is one of the most valuable things any human being possesses. You can replace money. You can buy another object. You can find another opportunity. But you cannot recover yesterday. So when you choose to be fully present with someone, you're making a quiet investment in the relationship. But genuine attention also means listening without immediately trying to fix everything. This is especially important because many people listen only long enough to prepare their response. They hear the first few sentences and immediately begin thinking about what they want to say next. They are technically present, but mentally somewhere else. Real listening requires patience. If he tells you about a challenge, you don't always need to give him an immediate solution. Sometimes you can simply ask, "What happened next?" or "How did that make you feel?" Those questions demonstrate curiosity rather than judgment. And there is another important element here. Don't use attention as a manipulation technique. If you're only listening because you believe it will make a man obsessed with you, the behavior eventually becomes artificial. People can often sense when attention is being performed rather than genuinely offered. The goal isn't to learn a trick that makes someone emotionally dependent on you. The goal is to become the kind of person who naturally makes others feel respected and heard. There is also tremendous power in remembering details. If he mentioned something important several days ago and you later ask about it, you're demonstrating that you didn't just hear his words, you registered them. Maybe he told you about an important meeting. Later you ask, "How did that meeting go?" Maybe he mentioned that he was worried about a family member. Later, you check in and ask how things are going. Maybe he talked about a personal goal he has been working toward. When you remember it, you show that his ambitions didn't disappear from your mind the moment the conversation ended. These small moments can create a sense of emotional closeness because they communicate continuity. They tell someone, "I remember what matters to you." A genuine smile can have a similar effect. Not a forced smile designed to impress, but the kind that naturally appears when you are happy to see someone. Your facial expression, posture, tone of voice, and eye contact can communicate emotional warmth before you say a single word. And there is an important balance to understand. Genuine attention doesn't mean staring intensely at someone every second. Healthy eye contact is natural. You look, you glance away, you return your attention, you allow the interaction to breathe. The goal isn't intensity. The goal is presence. The deeper lesson is that people often remember how they felt around you more than the exact words you said. Someone may not remember the details of a conversation months later, but they may remember feeling comfortable, respected, understood, or appreciated. That is why attention can become one of the most meaningful forms of affection. When you listen carefully, you create space for another person to express themselves. When you maintain natural eye contact, you communicate presence. When you remember details, you demonstrate that their words mattered. When you respond thoughtfully instead of automatically, you create a deeper quality of communication. And this works both ways. A healthy relationship isn't about a woman constantly giving attention while receiving none in return. Mutual attention matters. Mutual respect matters. Both people should have the opportunity to speak, to be heard, and to feel valued. So don't think of genuine attention as something you perform to keep a man's interest. Think of it as a reflection of your own emotional maturity. Be present because presence is powerful. Listen because understanding is more valuable than winning an argument. Look into his eyes because sometimes a person's face tells you what their words don't. Remember what he shares because details reveal what you truly value. And most importantly, don't underestimate the emotional impact of making another human being feel like they matter in a world that constantly tells everyone to hurry, scroll, consume, and move on. Sometimes the most memorable gesture isn't a grand romantic surprise. Sometimes it is simply putting everything else aside, looking at someone you care about, listening carefully, and making them feel that for those few moments, they are not competing with anything else for your attention.